They try to see it so happily. Take advantage of the opportunity to steal his weapon, to attack again. In a dilemma. Suddenly, the phrase appeared. Take the photographer and say, "Follow me." The photographer suddenly returned. Accidentally, VA eyes right the ring is shining brightly on the hand of the motto. The photographer is suspicious of realizing in the beginning of the wave of time, the ring of the motto is the weather. Just finished thinking, a flash of light. The photographer and the motto run into the light. Try to fall into a passive position. Immediately, steel hordes of followers chase fast photographer. Don't let them escape. He was so angry that he turned into a demon. Mouth screams out fire. Each large fireball. Straight towards the photographer, and the language is escaping. Shock resistant, the words suddenly disappeared, but very quickly regained the momentum of internal attack. The ring lit up again. The power of the ring is now stronger. It creates a huge gas explosion in the sky. I tried to dazzle my eyes after the shock. Try and get confused and ask each other. The disappearance in the blink of an eye of the photographer and the motto. Try to keep up. So on the other hand, they're trying to see that the situation is good. Rejoice for them to escape. Then suddenly disappeared. Take advantage of the situation without hesitation. Give orders to your troops. They are quick to avoid the easy way. The VA hit hard fire from the war is not over. It just goes up. In the sky, I see only the traces of Min lovers and Min celestial. Escape the chaos. If you try to see it, you will hate them. When I ran away, I ran away. He immediately ordered his followers to chase him. You can't let any of them escape. The whole group took orders. Run up with all your might and chase. The battle is getting worse, with explosions and screams growing louder. After a hard fight, every fun comes to an end. You haven't caught it yet, it's late. Try to write the words on your face. With the subordinates, your face tells the old man. Despite chasing for 100 miles, but let the hens escape. No need to listen to reports. Always try to know the situation. He breathed out helplessness. Ask your subordinates for that. Have you counted it? A serious leader bowed his head. I love you and love you there. Injuries and deaths are very serious. More than 5,000 people in total. The wind of hour. There are more than 6,000 people trying to get results. Make silly subordinates report more. But Li's rescuers were also injured. 7 more than 1,000 people. When I say this, I am always amazed. They scold the subordinates. 3 lead gods no longer work. Died, still more than the celestial Min and love Min. If it's simply revenge, then the elders of the family could probably ignore it. But come, even the gods can do it. I don't believe the elders will sit in love and not care. Try to turn me around. Want to see the first legal heir? Can you sit still or not? Go back to the temple. Now try to burn like fire. Into the determination to bring down the old. He was going to denounce the attempt. With the elders of the family, you have to try to figure out the cost of your job. A day later. On this side, 6 adventurers are worried when they have not seen the photographer. The language is not back. I can tell you that school hasn't come back yet. It's been a day. What else? The luggage is finally released. It seems that the Battle of Min Van time is not. Maybe they've reached safety. Even though everyone has arranged their fate. At the very least, it's only killed 1 times 0 to worry about them. The words of luggage. Also comforting the anxiety in the Heart 6 adventure. Part 6 adventure approves. Let's negotiate. Arrange Min Celestial and love Min. And the work of dealing with consequences. After this campaign. Then all 3 of them. Let's discuss a plan to deal with the consequences. Suddenly, a boy came running. My husband just received the news. They are in contact with the head of the family. Prepare to expose your sins. I try to look at my guilt. The boy Kier replied, it seems that it is because of the nature and love. Cancel the court. Just now. I also think about trying to poison my body. This is a newspaper. I can't believe he's playing games anymore. I tried to ask the guy. He was right. How are we accused? The boy replied, the plan of the more than 10 elders of the council will be gathered. It puts pressure on me to try again. Try to give up the position of heir. Or seek compensation for damage 7 to the court of God only. Right now, 6 adventurers and luggage are afraid to look at each other. The boy Kier continued, in which there is a position of elder support. Miss Lamb quietly brought this news. Let the lady know. Send me here to tell you. Try to continue. Before that, he has always been the rightful heir. In the family, a lot of elders are there. Build a good relationship with him. This time I want to use the power of the tribe against me. Anxious to ask. I want to know if he will deal with the fire. Try to think for a moment and then answer firmly. We have a way. He ordered the boy to investigate. Let's see which elder I can contact. The boy heard the command and launched the hook. Try to sing out a breath. We have to be busy this trip. At the same time, somewhere in the world, somewhere in the forest, escape by the stream of light. It was transmitted here. I was breathing hard, trying to be proud of my husband. We're hit by a long inflammation that's hard to treat. Definitely get me killed. Then let me go directly back to the soul. I can see the state of language like that is not free from worry, but regret, because we weren't prepared for the thought of a pacemaker. Reassure the language. The wound on you. It's not incurable. As long as high soul is not thoroughly broken. It doesn't make it difficult for me either. When I heard that, I was startled and denied. Should still leave. The photographer continues. If you can save it, you give up treatment. He thinks simply. Even if you drop a 6th grade, it's not worth it. The painful motto rises to an hour. Suddenly, the photographer looked at the motto's ring finger. I can't believe you're hiding a trick. This one, it seems to be an ancient treasure of the space system. Even we don't realize it. This treasure, it's like a blood vessel connected to you. He looked at the ring and said, the blood of speech. He is a girl, adopted by his grandmother since he was a child. I don't understand the sealing, no matter what it has to do with his body. There is no one but this ring. For him, the ring is proof for his existence in this world. I am in love with the idea of speaking. Someone who exists. It's not based on a masterpiece. Let us. Don't know, you've never heard of heaven like that. As many speakers Rihoa, vaguely illusory. The mind is as bright as a mirror. I regret more people coming to this world, which is empty. Your existence. You don't need anyone to prove it. Just have fun and enjoy life. He confirmed, important thing, not decide on which direction to come from. He finished listening to a surprise, with an understanding of the life of the photographer. In the underground admiration thought, even though the photographer is younger than me. But compared to me, I see it all. He told the photographer, I know what you mean. I will be just like you said in your speech. But that ring. Come here, the phrase stalled. He looked at the ring in his hand. And said that, he also wanted to know the background of the ring. She understood and screamed. I want to shoot myself. I'll help you heal the wound. I can't believe the title is still denied. What is difficult for photographers to understand if not treated? Your wounds will not be healed. Until then, it will affect your own personal life. Just too annoying. I'm mostly about the soul. Directly resurrecting the spoken word. It is important to note that the wound of speech. At first glance, it looks very serious, but the treatment only takes a sour soup. Compared to practice VI being reduced to one level. Obviously, such processing is simply much more satisfactory. Aesthetic motto, my whole body is a wound that I want to heal. This is not. The motto is still shaking its head and refusing to stop. Is still not necessary. I think the title seems less painful than before. The photographer thought, he's starting to talk more fluently. Then the suspicious reviewer asked, you're not comfortable with my art? Confident photographer, tell him that. Make sure you don't come to a curfew. And promise to let the motto restore to good looks. Cool at first. He was even more joking. That, until then, you will see him scream. I think the police seem to misunderstand me. I said I didn't mean this. I want you to write it all. Then why is SAO hesitating? They're all men. There's nothing to be afraid of. Or rather, you hurt me. It is my duty to treat you well. Don't worry about my magic. Make sure to let your VI in later. It has to be higher than one level. The photographer continues. The phrase is still in denial, that he really doesn't need treatment. Helpless in the heart. Don't understand. Why am I so wound up? I would rather die without treatment. It's not long-term inflammation. Spray a little, the brain is directly damaged. He risked his life to save himself. Just been seriously injured. I can't let him die again. Suddenly, he poked a few shots at the guy. Checked the condition of his wounds. The phrase is also itself. I was surprised that his body didn't react at all. The motto further affirms to the photographer that it really can't be cured. Don't talk anymore, I understand. It's always like trying to say something else. But the wound works. He only allowed him to shout. Don't worry, give it to me. She began the cure for the disease. The phrase is no longer denied. I checked once and said, just long inflammatory lesions. There is no pity for the soul. High is not the dragon inflammation of the sky seen killed quickly. Maybe the battle at that time. The French did not stop part of the long inflammation. Then he watched more closely. The word now has no resistance. Only his cry, hoo-hoo of pain. Confident photographer, confirm a little. His injury was a small thing to him. First, he wants to take off the clothes of the motto Ra. I heard him scream in panic. To withdraw without hesitation, the photographer looked at the shirt on the man. The phrase was unexpected, but nothing to say, apart from the painful groan from the wound. The photographer continued to work. Thoroughly, leading from his finger to the wound of the motto. The wound on the shoulder gradually healed. What does Regent 2 say? Do you trust my abilities? Moreover, we've used celestial force to penetrate into your body. Take away your inner wound. It's also cured. Just sit still and no SOS. The photographer seems to understand something. Clap the shoulder with the clap and move your hand over your neck. Biceps and rub 2 cheeks motto. He said the top of the head was well treated. Next is the bottom. When you're done, put the catcher down. Look at the white back. But bind the old and new wounds of the motto. You've been injured in so much ice before. The photographer tore up the ice. Wound on the back of the motto. I was just shy and about to cry. No matter the expression of the words. Retreat continues to practice massage. Move the power up. Every wound on the back. 1 month later, give back your white back. As Ngok Trin Cho motto. The photographer praised the boy. You are as white as a girl. If I were you, people will be jealous of you below. Embarrassed words with 9 faces without words. Move down the blanket of the motto. The photographer kept taking the pills in a massage jar. Heal for the motto. In the beautiful countryside. Besides the sound of water flowing from the stream in Ra, then the moans all come from the motto. It's all done. Stand up to speak. Let him rest in a stable place. Suddenly, she stared at his chest. I wonder what this is. I don't know any of them. People often think, these illusions, I'm afraid it has something to do with the title. The mysterious ring, the mysterious civilization, they are afraid of having a body. It's not that simple. This side, it's embarrassing to be stared at. I can't even open my eyes to Li. I can see that his expression is powerless. We say we are all men. What can't be seen? Still eyes closed and motionless. He put it aside and continued to practice. To touch the front wound. The front wound is not that heavy. It will help very quickly in. When the photographer attentively treated the wound show motto from the chest, and then through the stomach at this time, the motto opened its eyes, staring at the photographer. 2 people's eyes touching. The photographer said helplessly, you can't look at me with those eyes. Is that okay? I'm afraid that motto is really unintentional. He just wanted to break. When he finished, he stood up and said, the wounds on the people. He has dealt with it all. Leave the butt for the motto to handle itself. I'm still going to say, or you'll definitely. Then the photographer stopped. His eyes were fixed on his chest. He is amazing Kier. The illuminations on the pepper suddenly glowed. Curious, he directly touched the scriptures. The phrase is again purplish. So the photographer even rubbed his hands. When the photographer touches, the brighter the words surprised him. Just withdrew something. He suddenly fell to the ground. The motto doesn't understand what's going on. Time lies like a dog in the field. The sun also goes to sleep, giving way to the moon. And on this side, I woke up. He opened his eyes and looked around. I'm all gray. What's going on? Where is this place? I just touched it. The mantra in the chest of a mantra. Now it's raw again like this. There are big question marks in photography. And he feels it too. The big idea of this gray space. He's the author of that strategy. Suddenly, a loud voice came. This is in space. When he heard about the war, he also realized that. He'd heard where it was. It's only people who perform, trained to a very strong level, you can arrange a civilized war. In times not held by the Holy Emperor. Magic is absolutely impossible to learn. There are people who learn magic. Once a father, he will also be the Lord as servant. Chasing, kill to death. But even so, there are still countless compassionate soldiers. And carry this mystery forward. There are still a lot of people who practice acting. The police continued to pretend to hear it. Heaven's interpretation can be based on heaven. Break through time. Heaven broke through the space that the Holy Emperor sealed because. So those who practice magic, once the VI reaches the level, they will also be discovered by God. By that time he must have died. So you can bring the magic to practice. To the point where it's possible to set up a battle. Only in history. Just a few people. The power of these people is strong. Even at this level, you can fight with God. People in the dark seem to hear the words. In the photographer's mind answered no wrong. This battle is me. When you live, you're placed on my daughter's body. I heard 2 words from my daughter that I thought. The voice continued. Hundreds of thousands of years ago. Together, we win. The final battle is dead. To protect my only daughter. We use the magic of time. Didn't take it to hundreds of thousands of years later. I'm afraid to ask your daughter. He continued to explain. Because we're at this point, catching a breath ray. Time is not strong. There's an existence of magic. To the same world. At this time, the photographer also guessed the young. The person mentioned, like words. Think more deeply about photography. I don't think that's the word. It's not just slutty, it's the wrong woman. Not, he has just been confirmed as a male. He continued. Though that, we don't know where the last key or fake is. But from above you, we feel an instantaneous, non-intense gas. Surprised photographer. I thought I had instant air. Maybe it's 2 missing pages of the book. Or something else. The photographer asked respectfully. The former brings the lost spirit, arranged on his daughter's chest. What's the point? Answer the photographer's question. He told me the story of the past. He and his wife have lived together for the rest of their lives, all through the seal of destruction in the veins of girls. Over time, the blood vessels in the girl's body will slowly wake up and become a pseudo-protective power over them. But with this power of it, there is no way against God. We can only wait for the fakir to take the practice of heaven to the end. I heard one day that he was dragged here. There must be some kind of intention. That's the owner. I wonder what I can help you with. The other side did not hesitate to speak directly. He doesn't know the photographer's background, but he can feel it. Between photographer and daughter, he doesn't look like a normal friend. The photographer replied, "We are very close friends." "You're very close friends with him." "I want to ask you something." The photographer replied happily. "Just say what we can do. I will help you in part." He also wanted to take this opportunity to be thanked. It saved him a life. He asked, "You have a mountain on you, right?" The photographer did not hesitate to admit, "I can't believe this ancient animal has been captured by you. Moreover, you have completely integrated it." The photographer thought, but admired the touch of Kier. While he was hiding 10,000 Lai sun heap in the soul of the sea, the Kier continued, "Once the power in my daughter's veins to be released, it will be for you. We are alive." The breath of heaven was then revealed. "I will let God know." Curious photographer asked, "When can words wake up?" His voice continues to rise. Or that he himself reached the level of martial arts. Or it's time to be someone's wife. Startled photographer reaches the martial arts level, SAO. This is not difficult. That voice is ringing again. 1,000 Li Hassan map. It's actually a human treasure inside. It can form a small world on its own. That year, thousands of Li Hassan map has sparked the continuous struggle. There used to be 2 superheroes. In order to prevent the world from falling into the hands of God. I do not regret the sacrifice of Ra's life. In the end, they all died in the hands of God. At this point, he seems a little sad. The photographer thought, God does not have anything or anything. They can threaten him. 10,000 Lai Sun, it is also one of God's holy treasures. Always wanted to destroy everything. There are still a few good soldiers. Danger to hold back. He added more. Against the Holy Emperor, there's been countless fake lives lost so far. There is only one way to stop God. Is to gather countless earth angels. Local. It can be creative to suppress a ghost religion of the Holy Emperor. Make him temporary. There's no way to use all the power. He revealed more. God can only use his body. Holding a time zone. No, so we still have a little chance. If not just afraid of 10, some areas are nearby. They are all blessed by the Holy Spirit. The photographer now also realized that his previous life was determined to fight. The power of God is weak. And he's also suspicious. Maybe fighting him is just a fight. But the photographer's not sure. God is not afraid of anything in his previous life. I heard that. The saint of the angel of the fatherland suddenly disappeared. It was also destroyed by a golden fire. Maybe the Holy Spirit could not restore power. But really, they still don't know how to solve the problem. He received a regency conviction. God is very strong. But you don't have to be too pessimistic. There's a lot of false power hiding in the realms. They all try to practice. You can fight the Emperor at any time. Inside the world of the dragon boat. The world that's due to a great power. Before losing the seal arrangement of the Kier world. But even the Holy Emperor, it can't break the Kier. In the shimmering world. Hiding a lot of treasures. If only you could find. It may help a lot for you. The Regent of Ra. I don't understand the world. He explained more. The seal of the world. Extremely powerful. Only the people of the world. You can come in. My daughter is just fine. The people of the world. Maybe I can help you. Slowly understand out hand claw. Feeling the seal of the world. And it's raw from here. I don't know what kind of treasure I'm hiding. When I didn't love Reishi, I still loved it. I dragged the sword with the dream of loving the lake. They are all good spirits. In addition, I have also found 6 pieces, kinds of miscellaneous items. It's obviously a lot worse. Maybe not. I can't believe that the world where I was born is so important. Only indigenous people can freely come in and out. It's hard to blame God for wanting to pee. The world of power development. I want to love animals in my hands. The whole spirit. The world from the beginning. It's not a war of humanity and love. Can also say, the entrance of the dead flutters, the world opens again. We must get the other treasures first. The false powers of divine love. Although it is born once. But there's still a lot of mystery. Can't explain. Because not Min, the great mystic Kier, does not know who the enemy is. Where is it now, after all? He spoke up for help. My daughter's job now. He had to rely on the photographer. The photographer is not reluctant. On the contrary, confidently replied Senior assured, as long as we exist. No one will be able to touch your daughter. Even if it's just a fluff. But the photographer is not sure. He can guarantee the life of his daughter. If anything goes wrong. If he also lost his life. When they heard it, they laughed. You can hide and hide. If you can't hide, you can only blame fate. If so, go back first. And then the photographer gets out of that gray space. Come back. As a matter of fact, he is still with his eyes closed. Gradually wake up. His bad hand touched where it shouldn't have been. I wonder what this is. It's so soft, his hands are still squeezing. I'm still dreaming. He was eaten a fruit and a plum of words. The motto screams on the scoundrel. The photographer was startled. Regent's soul. It's time to hit the spot. On the other side, the face is red. Nose foot hand does not respond. According to the photographer's eye reflexes move on the chest. The motto only sees a flattening. The mountains are not. Realize that it was just a dream. I suddenly realized something. Ask if you know everything. The photographer, at the moment, according to the reflex of blame motto. I didn't even know you were a woman. Who told you to always pretend to be a man? Loud and angry slogan. Your hair is also fast. I can talk about today. Just pretend that everything has never happened. The photographer scratched his head to let it go. Immediately remember out. Ask the motto, how did your wounds heal? Title again. He blushed and said, I didn't know. Grasp the situation. The photographer suggested the motto come back together. Then let's hurry back. To keep the brothers from worrying. The language also agrees. The photographer said, we don't know where we're transmitted. But in the paint this cup is full of spirit. It is also seen as a sanctuary, just talked about here. Suddenly, the photographer sensed something unusual. Turned to the motto, steal carefully. And hastened to pull the motto both dozens of fire. Pull the motto running into the bush. I think the language doesn't seem to cooperate. Photographer hurried acupressure point. The motto doesn't understand what's going on. Your face is full of anger, and you dare to play a trick. The photographer did not explain further. Lime hugged the motto and sealed her mouth. The motto never ceases to exclaim. The mayor continued to close his mouth. Don't let her scream anymore. But it doesn't seem to work. The phrase is still confused. It makes a cry like I want to cry. At this time, the photographer came close to the Thai motto small talk. If you don't want to die, don't talk. The words seem to have felt. There's something serious. That's what the photographer has to do. So also obey. The photographer said the breath over there was strong. I don't know what I wrote. You can avoid their feelings or not. The wind just kept blowing. Getting stronger and stronger. This side, there are actually two airwaves that are coming straight at us. Two shadows appeared in the sky. Then they land on the ground. An angry guy said the Kier gas is gone. The yellow name also feels that. His breath was too weak. It has nothing to do with the boy. The red one is also angry. Killing so many of our people doesn't work. It is also difficult to overcome the hatred in my heart. Decided not to let the photographer and the motto escape. The red name says the yellow name. Whether you manage it or not. These two breaths suddenly appear and then disappear. It must be a bit strange we have to find Cho-Ra. The nearby bushes. The photographer and the hiding motto also know the love. The phrase recognizes that those two names are the enemy of love. And also to take Ra's action at this time of the regent. Why did that to him, the red man? Kier glanced around. The situation is getting more serious. Think not good. Come on, they're at least moving. Once you get close to us, it's very likely we'll directly reveal our hiding place. The distance between Kier and regent. It's getting closer and closer. Breathing sound. The heart rate of the two people is also more intense hiding. In worry. The red saddle used his sharp bullet-shaped eyes. Looking for two of them. Suddenly, his footsteps stopped. He almost discovered something. Hurry up over there. Then he ordered the yellow man to chase after him. The two lovers soared into the sky. This side breathed a sigh of relief. It seems that their goal is not us. Even though the Kier lovers have left. But still a hug. A hand-gagged motto. The sign says the situation is fine. I realized that I was so embarrassed. The photographer explained the hurry. It can't be normal. The situation just now is unfortunate. The awkward phrase doesn't answer a word. The photographer said hurriedly, this place is not suitable for long. Love is gone. We have to hurry. I just pulled out the motto in the photographer. The sudden appearance of a lover. It makes me jump. The face fades. He was curious to ask which of the two men was in heaven. It's called Fire God or Fire God. She was surprised by him. No wonder we're standing behind us. Sometimes I can't find out. It is far more powerful than the two previous patriots. They waited for their husbands to look at each other for a long time. The photographer asked the opposite of the Kier name. Who are you? What do you think this guy wants to do? He wants to execute himself, and the motto is as easy as turning the hand. He's a good guy. He's a bad guy. He is now over 80 years old. He raised his voice to propose divorce, and the motto calls him family. Here he continues to speak, but I asked you, and you didn't answer. I asked the opposite why. This is the name of this dead man. Then laughed and teased. 80 years old, a lot of love at this age. Even the mind is not open. Being in love is not just a name. You guys are crazy. Listening to the photographer's sarcasm, the boy was astonished and shouted, Are you not a child? Probably because of the appearance of the motto and the photographer. So handsome, they look young again. He was wrong that the two of them were children. But he shocked his confidence very quickly in his voice. You're not worried. I brought you to kill Sao. You are just the level of heaven. The photographer said, If you want to kill us, then you have moved soon. Over here, the stiff-throated Kier can only speak. You are lucky to have met me. The photographer said casually, If you go to the world, we are psychologically prepared to die. Not to mention good or bad weather. It is not strange to be in the dead. In front of the photographer, he said, You're not afraid of death. There is a breath of time on your body. And stupid idiom, you see that. Laugh for an hour and make sure to keep talking, but rest assured, I have no hatred for you. I will not harm you without cause. Where? And then he asked them why they were here. You are also here because of the god of illusion. The photographer and the motto didn't seem to understand what he meant. I keep quiet and stupid Ra. He felt so helpless to speak. Stop for a moment and ask again. You don't have to go. It's because of the illusory temple. What are you doing here? You don't know. This is a very dangerous place, or Sao. It was only here that the photographer thought. It seems that he had heard of the illusory temple in his previous life. It used to be a court of law that the ancient Almighty left behind. This court opens once every 6 years. In addition to the treasure, it is also very dangerous. Every time it opens, there will be countless fake powers coming. More than 65 years later, God came in. The illusory palace opens the museum of the great Kier. The king thought back and sighed. I said I'm asking too much of your strength. Enter the temple of illusion. There is only one way to find death. And advice should still be quick. Let's get out of here. The photographer still has questions. I asked him the two fake lovers. Why did I chase you to kill you? It's also because of Sao. The king laughed. Said that those two stings, not good enough to be his opponent. Then say more. There are a total of 6 solar panels. They're people of the fire spirit. I am a man of the Holy Spirit. Here is near the Temple of Illusion. We've got a package of unknown objects. They want to take the Buddha in my hands. I killed some people. As a result, their men began to chase us. The surprised photographer asked, This is not Sao tracking. The king said with disdain that there were only 2 of them. I easily killed them. But destroying them will be revealed. So I don't want to fight with them. The photographer was surprised to ask what the object was. The prison king thought a little. Then decide, let the photographer take a look at that object. because he thinks those two are the same. If you look a little, it's okay. Then he took a bright red object from his pocket. Out for photographer.